stays exactly the same unless John asks for a texture change. Man, it stays right there. Bulldog tough on those valve targets. One more time, please.
Once upon a time, a boy with moonlight in his eyes.
It's okay. Good. Awesome. Okay, one more time. And that's the slide two John was talking about earlier. This will never change this information. How stingy we're going to be on that descent, and also how it's energized. The care and feeding of that note. That's all the leads. And all those, the lionesses down front, they're all trained to know, they know exactly about that part of the melody line. This is, as it should be, it's a blue ribbon gold medal song. Most any judge that'll be in front of you will have known this song pretty well through the years, okay? So we got to make sure we deliver. They'll be waiting for leads. They're trained to pounce on the wounded wildebeest leads. Not ready. Don't you be pulled from the herd. Ready? Here we go, leads. One more time.
Once upon a time,
It's a happy song.
a boy with moonlight in his eyes.
Like a screwdriver. Make sure there's constantly spitting to that lead line. One more time. That was the best you had. It still could be happier, so I'm going to have to beat on you. I'd rather have you be irritated with me tonight than in Baltimore, okay? So you have to show up to the fight with your face. You got to have a face in place. Ready? One more time.
Once upon a time, a boy with moonlight in his eyes.
Nice job. I got you a little overexcited at the end of that, but the pitch was awesome. So we do want that crescendo, but you don't have to dial it forward further there. Just make sure the lift stays in it. Can we add the basses into that, please? That's a happy new lead line, basses. Hint.
Once upon a time.
And this is the once upon a time, isn't it? This is the first chorus, not the intro, right? That's the intro line. We're talking about the first chorus line. Oh, I think it's once upon a time.
I'm sorry, me too.
But you look awesome.
Once upon a time.
So time we got there. We're not doing anything wrong when we started. We just haven't been aware of the new lifted lead line yet.
Once upon a time.
Great look of that too, basses. That's all bass. They're erecting statues in your honor if you sing it like that, basses. You got to get that. Lead bass again, please. It's happening.
Once upon a time, a boy with moonlight in his eyes.
Way to go, leads. So bass is awesome start, but now we'll need to also make a little update like the leads that on. That's the flawless root 5 there, the fillet of that chord. So right there again, bass is being aware. Great job on the start that time. Lead bass again.
Once upon a
So I
time.
still hear this. Thanks for letting me bust your chops. It's still a little bit. Once upon a time. In your natural voice, man, be ready, be present right out of the gate.
Once upon a time.
Yes, yes. Thank you. One more time.
Once upon a time, a boy
Stays happy.
with moonlight in his eyes.
Now that'll work. I think the various attempts should hang their hat on that. Baritones, let's add you in the mix. Bottom 3, please. Good.
Once upon a time.
It shouldn't have to be his job, but I don't want him to move forward whether I'm here or not. Because when he looks at the chorus, it looks like you're going to hit it out of the park good.
Once upon a time.
That was a great start. What's the little walk there? Does it walk up on up? Yeah, that's it.
The second one is.
Yep. Good boy. 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 That's okay.
Once upon a time.
Parents, raise your hands, please. Thank you. Awesome. One more time. Here we go. Bottom three.
Once upon a time.
So again, John will have to comment because he hears you on a weekly basis, but to me, that's way more present than just a little bit earlier. So I don't want to take anything away from the overall dynamic contrast that you're bringing to the dance because you're awesome at that. But man, when we flex, we got to flex. So every time we have that 1, 1, 3, 5, unless maybe at the tail end on the baritone typically feature one, that's going to be just a cavern of fun to listen to sound. Say that again. Bless you. Tenors, you're in. All 4 parts, please. The happy first chorus.
Once upon a time, a boy with moonlight in his eyes.
Awesome. So now, make sure you have the feel that you want out of that, John. That sound and presence I thought was awesome.
Once upon a time.
I promise we're going to move on. So there's still a little bit of tentative start from a few of us on. No apologies. Safe environment.
Once upon a time.
Now, last thing that I promise I'll shut up for a bit. That was awesome. So we're not talking about continuing to get louder. We're just talking about getting more present. Although that was a very good loud sound. I'm thinking that might be a little bit more intense volume-wise than what John wants. But we want that presence in the sound. There's no apologies to regardless of the volume, it's always present. One more time. I promise we'll move on.
Once upon a time, a boy with moonlight in his eyes held his hand in mine.
Awesome. Now that was universally killer faces, I thought, on the next phrase was awesome. Held his hand in mine. Flawlessly in 2 baritones, but we're squashing the leads ever so slightly. And I know we end on 5 above 1. Just make sure there's some flow to that. It was a little lead-like in its brilliance, and then we lose the lead sound. That was awesome. One more time, please. Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, a boy
Happy information.
with moonlight in his eyes held his hand in mine.
Sing that again with John. Nice little contention. It's more intimate. Ready right there with John. Hold his hand.
Held his hand in
Awesome.
mine.
Great faces. Lead bass only right there.
Held his
So
hand.
we're going to held his hand. And it's actually a good voice. There's a lot of ringing brilliance to it, but we need to make sure that it's singer friendly for this section. So again, you wouldn't get credit for that gorgeous, brilliant tone because it's not unified with your other fellow lead singers. Ready? Give up a little bit of your personal quality for the better of your section. Ready? Lead bass.
Held his hand.
Good. Good. See, baby, look, isn't it? Keep on going, lead bass.
Held his hand in
So again, I'm
mine.
being nitpicky. Just the leads, please. Same thing, voices, but I'm hearing held his hand. Maybe not that loud. This is before he got that early on in the relationship before you like tune me out, and then just easy. Oh, you're gonna wait. So make sure. Good. Still a hand. Thanks for letting me nickname. Elvis was awesome then. And I heard a brilliant voice over here. Brilliant! Hope I never heard it again. It's not you, is it, young lady? It's a good voice, too. Try it one more time. Try it one more time. Try not to change it. Do what you think you always do again with these leads. It is good. So you're in perfect tune and perfect quality. Just take a little off of the volume. So like 5% less volume, same place. All the leads again. That's the best yet. But even then too, and this will apply, we talked about briefly, sorry to be chatty, that everyone has an individual playbook that you memorize for the success of the course. Most of the chapters will be universal, that affect all of us, and we all walk the same walk. Then there's going to be certain ones just to your section, the part that you sing, and also the row that you stand on. You're going to have some individual chapters that are pertaining just to you. So you need to know that your personal breath plan, of course, so you're never challenged. But man, it's so important that you know all of this like the back of your hand. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but things that have helped me through the years, the better I knew the technique like the back of my hand, the easier it was for me to free up and really get involved in the message of the song. If I'm still thinking of any terrain or technique that I'm not feeling that great about, it's almost impossible for me to get involved in the message of the song. So technically, that's going to be important. Just like, I don't know for you all, but when I learned to drive, I was hyper-focused on wanting to get my license when my parents finally let me do it when I was 38. When I wanted to get my license, so you're learning that, but you're still hyper-focused on the learning part of everything that you have to get right. Now, not proudly, nowadays I can multitask when I drive. You know, I can steer with my knee, I can be brushing my hair, I can be eating a sandwich. Now, I couldn't do that when I was learning to drive. I was hyper-focused on all the nuts and bolts. But after doing it for a long time, even though it's not safe, then you can multitask. But we can apply that approach to music. You'll have to know the breakdown of when you learn to drive, or the technique of what we do in barbershop. You'll have to know that all the way before you're allowed to run and play in artistry. Does that make sense? It'll be hard to be artistic if you don't know the nuts and bolts like the back of your hand. So even little updates, if John comes up with updates, or we do in-house, or coaching and that kind of stuff, it's up to us, not just our scribes who write it out for us and tell us this is what we're doing, us to do the homework to get that done. I just want to make sure that we maximize our experience in Baltimore and beyond. It's not just about Baltimore, but now, you know, this is a new exciting level of play, and it'll take a new level of commitment by this great course. One more time, basses, you're back in. Leads and basses. Hold his hand, right on the pitch. It's intimate. Welcome back, basses. That was great leads. Here we go. Lead bass again. And then it's just the topsy-turvy of the balance of that. So deep with that bass note. Sort of high lifted third. So even though we're on melody, we've got to be sensitive that's a third. Baritones will help us a bit, but we also want to make sure they don't squash us. Lead bass one more time. Performing. It's okay. So it's going to start on. That's going to be the springboard, not slowing it down. That sets you up for success on where you want to place line. Ready one more time, lead bass. That's Jeff. Now just basses and berries right there again. Bass and berry. Welcome back. That's it. Actually, the start of it was good, maybe because you were attentive. The start of it was good. One more time, very bass. Good. Leads, join us. So now, think about the focus it took just to get God's hand in mind, which was worth it, in my opinion, hopefully. I mean, that was killer, artistic, super clean, ready into singing. Try to contain your excitement. Here we go. Tenors are in. Tenors are in, all four. So we can all hear how it locks in. Ready? One more time. So even this, sorry, Joe, thanks for your patience. Even that breath, even when we're left bringing it to death, okay, when you get it down, it doesn't count if that's the look. Now I know we all learn differently, but do your best to demand the look of the sound before you even sing a note. Everyone? So that in is lead bass fillet, and then it flips to very bass fillet on the end. I mean, basses we're almost always in the lead, aren't we? It's good. It's good to be bass. Here we go. Ready? One more time. Sorry, we got a hot lead coming back. A-level gold medal soft. Super artistic, very musical, super clean and ringy. Now, the deal is that's not in place of anything that we're doing. That's in addition to everything that you already walked into the room with. So anything we're talking tonight now is adding new ingredients into the mix. Nothing will be replaced. This is all in addition to our skill set. Awesome. Now can we go all the way back to the top? So this is not the first chorus. This is really the intro notes with all four parts. As we open it up, once upon a time, the high one coming up. Awesome.
Once upon a time, we were so in love. Once upon a time.
Of it too. So when she has echoes, Jude Dale's chart, right? One that we did the Jude. So when she has those echoes, or when an arranger adds those echoes, or features like the baritones are here, it's for a certain reason. It's not just to try to gather more points, it's to add more impact, obviously. So whenever we're featured on any of those echoes, they have to be even more electric than the initial information, because you're repeating the same information, right? Like Elizabeth Taylor's seventh husband. You know what to do, but how do you keep it interesting? That's the same thing for us, got it? Same approach for us, got it? I'm being serious about that. So every time that you echo some information that was just laid out for the listener, man, it has to be way more important. If you're involved in that, baritones were that time, but man, you got to come to the dance ready for that. Every time there's a repeat, it has to be more important than the original information. Cool. That was great. soon. You could end up there when John was going to take us there, but some of us got there just a bit early. And when you were so stunning up to that, it will be those little things. And again, the good news is, we're way more important than a mid-sized course. The simple math is, you're way more important in this course than you would be in a mid-sized or large course. You have way more responsibility. Isn't it fun to be way more important than a mid-sized or large course? And it is. We all have more responsibility to fill up because we're way more important percentage-wise in the overall equation of this group than if we were 1/60th of the group. Not nearly as important. So that's awesome. That's a good responsibility to have. It'll keep us honest. Now back to thanks for letting me play too. So he's always a gentleman when when I dive in when I shouldn't. So that mindset of that, I think on his own hands, that deliberate and that dramatic of how we set it up, and plenty of time for that to be flawless too. On everyone was smart on how they took a breath. And you were able to form that bellboard flawlessly. Every part was flawlessly entered that time. So I think this could be killer. I mean, imagining this come time regional and then come time in Baltimore, this should be fatally good, that passage. It should be really, really good. We do it one more time, I promise we'll move on to the tag. Good, thanks for being ready. One or two leads were flawless. Do that one more time. So again, I know it's new terrain. Even if you're thinking about it and you have no idea what the notes are, still in the play. That'll give you away. Even if you get it right, you'll think that you missed it a bit. Here we go. One more time. And no apologies, even though it's awesome. We had before, we just want to be present. That's all. One more time. Yes. Good, check out again just for a second.